The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM. You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. The most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
She's going to be singing Plight of My People. Make some noise for Lady Gypsy.
No, plight of my people. Too much of one thing, good for nothing. Too much a good thing, never enough. I don't know why my black people cannot see. No party never care about we. Every election we so devoted. How we love up we PNM. As soon as election come and go, it's only problem after problem. How could we cope? Man lost their hope. I ain't seeing no solution. Every time PNM come in power, it takes a toll on black man. I don't want to sound like a racist, but this is what I can see. They just take care of the race, cause they damn well know they have we. I want to ring me bell, wake up Eric Williams, tell him the party found him PNM needed immediate attention. Ring me bell, wake up Mother Cornhucks, tell she to cast a spell on we party, cause it's not what it used to be. Ring my bell, I ring a bell down there. I ring my bell, ring my bell. I ring my bell down there. This thing is becoming out of hand. It's time this damn nonsense stop. If you don't sing a P&M song, from Skinner Park you'll be dropped.
water 5, road smooth as 6, provide people with work, UNC ain't making jokes. Tell them drilling say, PNM dead. Social media say, the party dead, dead, dead. The registered party members in pain. Scarborough to put a spin, inside sources say, PNM dead. Tell them Arnold say, PNM dead. Police, army and prison say, the party dead, dead, dead. Election night, flambeau burning steady. The casket closed and the hearse ready. Read the red eulogy. PNM dead, dead, dead. Tell them Kamala say, PNM dead. Some of the members say, the party dead, dead, dead. When the carrot come leaders hear what's up, seems like not one of them was in shock. Put them in one big box. PNM dead. Tell them Mooney Lal say, PNM dead. Teachers, doctors and nurses say, the party dead, dead, dead. All the bad investments and fellas make investors not coming for the week. No more ice cream and cake. PNM dead, dead, dead. The red party showed no empathy for 18 babies and pipeline families. They so heartless, citizens in distress. The country in a crisis, SOE and still all justice. 1. UNC on a mission 2 to correct the school system. 3. End poverty and clean up TNT. 4. Speed up the housing process. 5. Lower taxes. 6. Revamp we energy. Bring back the oil refinery. Tell them Kamala say, PNM dead. Petro chain workers say, the party dead, dead, dead. Bubba billions missing from the treasury. Corruption with taxpayers' money. The end is here, security. PNM dead. Hey, tell them Mooney Lal say, PNM dead. Even the 1%ers say, the party dead, dead, dead. They support us mourning and crying. Funeral arrangements they making. The DMO leaving. PNM dead, dead, dead. Tell them drilling say, PNM dead. Social media say, the party dead, dead, dead. The registered party members in pain. Scarborough to put a spin, inside sources say, PNM dead. Tell them Arnold say, PNM dead. Police, army and prison say, the party dead, dead, dead. Election night, flambeau burning steady. The casket closed and the hearse ready. Read the red eulogy. PNM dead, dead, dead.
For Trinidad and Tobago to grow, PNM must go.
PNM, your days are numbered. UNC will take over. Trinidad and Tobago, yellow is the code.
PNM, them in too much bacchanal.
Them say PNM sleeping with the criminals. When PNM in power, the crime rate goes up higher. PNM breaks the country every time. When PNM in power, them don't care about them character. PNM bankrupt the country every time. Them say PNM must go far, far away. Never to come back until judgment day. PNM who breaks the country every time.
PNM, them in too much confusion.
Them say PNM rocking up for governance. When PNM in power, more taxes is the order. PNM breaks the country every time. When PNM in power, it's for the rich to get richer. PNM bankrupt the country every time. Them say PNM must go far, far away. Never to come back until judgment day. PNM who breaks the country every time.
PNM, them in too much corruption. Them say UNC is the only solution. When the PP was in power, the country country started to prosper. PNM come break the country every time. When PNM in power, love until continues to suffer. PNM bankrupt the country every time. Them say PNM must go far, far away. Never will come back until judgment day. PNM who breaks the country every time. PNM, them spiteful and real bad mind. Them say PNM breaks the country every time. When PNM in power, criminals they appoint all over. PNM breaks the country every time. But when Pamela come in power, all corrupted will uncover. UNC will make our lives live better. Them say PNM must go far, far away. Never will come back until judgment day. PNM who breaks the country every time.
Welcome to WZYE TV 95.9 FM. We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. And on Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. on Let's Talk Politics. Like, share and subscribe to keep up to date with reality affecting your life, and as we always say, we bring the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
You're tuned to WZYE, the heartbeat of unfiltered truth. We're more than a station, we're a movement, grounded in facts, driven by integrity, committed to progress. We don't chase headlines, we create them. Decoding politics and current affairs to question power, not cozy up to it. From Laventille to Scarborough, whether you're in your living room or your commute, this is where perspectives collide, divides dissolve, and tomorrow's conversations start today. WZYE. We originate, not imitate.
A very good Sunday afternoon to you. This is Let's Talk Politics on 95.9 WZYE, where we make a difference. We do our best to make a difference. Sorry for the late start today, but it's going to be a little different show today, because we don't have Professor with us right yet. He may come in a little later. Until then, I'll be carrying on as best as I can. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to open the phone early because there's a lot to discuss, a lot going on from the CPEP crisis, or should I say CPEP affair. Which is the hottest item on the list right now. And there are a lot of other things going on in the parliament that we need to discuss, because as we clearly see, it's time to clean house and to get things back aligned in the right way. So I want to welcome each and every one for being here with us. And most of all, thank the Most High for allowing us this opportunity to get together again today. The phone number here is 973-609-6509, 973-609-6509. The lines are open. We can talk. Let's talk. about what's going on in our beautiful island, because there's a lot going on. Meanwhile, I can play you some music while you decide who wants to call in and talk about what they see going on and what they think about what's going on. I know there's a lot of people crying today concerning the recent, or should I say, the dismantling of of CPEP. But it's only right that we get a full audit so that we know where we are with this new administration taking charge. They know exactly what they're working with, because it's no fun working in the dark, and that's how they are operating right now. When they don't have a audit on what's going on with CPEP. So I'm sure that everybody realized that yeah, COP, you can come in now. I have special guest today, special guest about to come in, and I'm gonna welcome him right now. COP, you're welcome. You're here. Welcome to WZYE. Go ahead. No audio. Turn your mic on or your audio up. I don't have any audio for you. Are you hearing me? If you're hearing me, put up your hand. Okay, I'm not hearing you though.
You get me there now?
No, I'm hearing you nice, loud and clear.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Uncle Tommy.
Good
Good
afternoon to
afternoon to you,
you.
Wall Street. Good afternoon
Yes,
to all the listeners and them. Well, Uncle
welcome,
Tommy,
welcome.
I'm here with you today.
Yes, welcome to WZYE, and I thank you for being here with me. There's a lot going on. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are happy. A lot of people are unhappy. What's your thought as to what's going on right now?
Well, Uncle Tommy, this is the nature of politics. The people them who unhappy, it's just the PNM people and them, and they're entitled to be unhappy, but it have many other people happy. If 50% of the population unhappy now, 50% of the population was unhappy 10 years, for the past 10 years, 50% of the population and more. And the statistics show 50%. It showed 98% of the population was unhappy, and 98% of the population happy right now. And what they're not happy for? Why they unhappy?
Well, they're claiming that a lot of people are going to be suffering.
Well, Uncle Tommy and listeners all over, they can claim what they want, but when they say 11,000 workers going home, I don't think that the government saying 11,000 workers going home. I think that the government saying the PNM contractors and them, contractors and them who contract sign 2 days and 3 days before the general election, those people them going to lose the contract on them, but not the workers on them. When other contractors get them contract on them, it's the same workers on them that they take back. It's the same workers on them as be working. So the PNM side could say what they want when you really listen to them, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and all over the world. How they didn't have that passion when petroleum workers went home? How they didn't have that passion when the steel mill workers and them went home? How they didn't have that passion when TSTT workers went home? How they didn't have that passion and they wasn't setting up lines to ensure these people and them keep the worker? How they didn't have that passion for that?
Yeah, well, you know the fourth estate is who they're working with.
Well, that is propaganda. Remember Marvin Gonzalez say
True.
they will go all over the country and spread the gospel, the propaganda, not the gospel, the propaganda of the People's National Movement. That is what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And we have to applaud WZYE 95.9 and Wall Street with this vision to expose the truth. We have to give them applaud for that. Because Professor Wall Street, it's sad to see Professor Wall Street, Uncle Tommy. It's sad to see what the PNM speaking about now, and they had no concern for the people. Them now know it's only $1,400 a fortnight. The people that are working for $700 a week. Them now know that, you know. Let me ask them how much government ministers had them CPEP contracts on them, and it's them who are collecting the most amount of money, and the foreman and them are playing the running the CPEP gang. Is many CPEP contract businessmen, senators had them contracts on them. Many of them. Why they want to keep that contract? Professor Wall Street always are saying that. Uncle Tommy,
Go ahead.
it's sad. It's really sad to see what they engage in themselves with. And we have to expose them. We have to expose them for the cruelty towards the citizens of this country, and all of a sudden they're concerned. I have no regrets that the United National Congress eliminate those CPEP contractors of them. No regret. They did the right thing. When PNM in power, the PNM contractors on them, the PNM supporters on them, have those contracts on them. And that going on since it started. CPEP started. When the UNC come in office, what they want to do, keep the contract? Was it fear? Was it fear, citizens and listeners all over the world, for the PNM government to renew these contracts on them 2 days before election?
That should be a crime.
That should be a crime. That should be unconstitutional. Because all the time, for the past 8 years, there was renewing them contract. There was giving them 3 months contract and 6 months contract. 3 months contract and 6 months contract. How it is when you know you're going to lose the election? You give them 3 years contract. For the past years, the renewing how does renewing Kokro contract? They give Kokro 6 years. That fear
could never be feared.
That is political hypocrisy and vindictiveness in governance. That is what they was engaging themselves in.
Yeah, that should be described as something criminal to do.
Yes. That was that is wickedness towards the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me say good afternoon to Caribbean Soul and Miss Santa Cruz, KFC, the whole of the Beatum crew, and all the listeners. Mova. This next one from foreigner. I always forget your name. But all the listeners of WZYE 95.9, good afternoon to you all. Mr. COP live here today.
Yeah, see, we had somebody new first in the village in the session today. Let me see who it is. Oh, okay, Keishan Thomas. It's probably the first time I've seen him first in here.
Keishan Thomas. Good afternoon to you, Keishan Thomas.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes, and then COP, we have another matter that is in the front burner, which is the Revenue Authority and the PNM concerning this big pension for one-day Prime Minister.
Uncle Tommy, right now that past one-day Prime Minister asking himself why. I don't believe he should get that pension. And I, as a citizen of this country, I admire and appreciate what this government did to make sure he get a pension. What this government is telling the citizens of this country, and even telling Stuart Young, if you spend 1 year as Prime Minister, you'll get a percentage. 2 years as Prime Minister, you'll get a percentage. 3 years, if you cross the 4 years, you're entitled to get the pension. How could you spend 1 day and expect to get $1 million a year? Which part in the world that is happening? And the other countries that happening, them not under CARICOM laws. Them run by the European countries, by France and all, and who Jamaica under? Who Barbados under? Uncle Tommy?
Well, all I can tell you is that they're independent as we are.
Yeah, they're independent as we are.
So,
but who laws they go under?
Everybody deal with. We have a call coming. Let's take this call and hear what our caller has to say. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. Tommy. Good evening, Mr. Suki. Glad to see you, brother.
Mr. Florida.
Yeah. What's up? Glad to see you, Mr. Suki. You see, you get wrong applause, but you're a special guest today, so you get higher than the applause. Glad to see you, Mr. Suki. You guys hear me?
Yes, you can hear you. Go ahead, make a contribution, my friend.
All right, yeah. So the sad thing about it, right? When Patrician was existing, and they giving out the payments after they close it down, you know, they check how long you work for, how much contribution you make, and they give you a pension based on that. And that was the same company who was bringing the most poor to this country, who had this country surviving. Now you have not an elected prime minister, but a selected prime minister who didn't even went back up when they had internal, because he was contemplated. He said he didn't join or become prime minister from money gain. But yet still you won't come on public TV and say, listen, I don't want it. And put your hat in the ring for internal election for the PNM. You see, what the PNM supporters, the sycophants, let me say, because a lot of PNM people changed their mind and voted for the UNC. They don't care for the big piece of the pie. You know how the Chinese people say the scrums?
Yep.
And not even the scrums, after the scrums and the rodents eat the little remainers, they take the droppings. Because that's what they're accustomed to. They're not accustomed to having a good life and wanted ambitious things for their family. That is why generation wealth will always go one way. They don't know about generation wealth because they never had it. Probably maybe in the 70s, 80s, when, and I wouldn't like to, the African were more educated than the Indians in the 70s, 80s. Because they were the doctors, the lawyers, they was running the show. But you see,
Mr. Florida, I want to disagree with you. I don't want to really believe what you're saying to be truth. I don't know what COP thinks when it comes to that education story, but press on.
No, but what I'm saying, they were up in the run-ins. I wouldn't say they totally dominated, but they were up in the run-ins. No. Look at the education factor. Who are the children who feel the most in schools? Who are the children who don't have opportunity? You see, in order to go into the top, people don't go to the top by themselves, you know. They get help. And they have people in certain institute and people in certain position help them. But the thing is, look at it now. In 2010 to 2015, we had water, roads was fixed, people was employed. People know where's good governance. No, after 10 years, say them, thank you. Again, back water, again, back. But we had that before. And then they take propaganda to vote them out. And people take that propaganda and they just vote them out. And although they was getting good governance, and now after 10 years, they say the same thing UNC was doing in 2010-15. It's the same thing they was doing. You see, when UNC taking us 2 steps forward and propaganda talk comes out, and you vote them out and we go 10 steps back, UNC have now to bring me out of that 10 step back and start to take me forward, you know. And who is not to say that after this 5 years, they will come out with some propaganda again and vote out the UNC again, and we will go 10 steps backwards. How will you move forward?
I think it's a different era. I think social media has changed the way the fourth estate were once able to dominate the information business. So let's hope and let's pray that things don't go that route again.
Yeah, look at Mr. COP. Mr. COP been around in Marbella for the longest time. And Mr. COP could tell you when Manning was around, Marbella wasn't so bad how it is now. When UNC was there for 2015, Marbella wasn't so bad because petrol was running and people was eating.
Nearly all the people there in Marbella Main Road.
So I would like to hear Mr. COP comments on that, and guys, look on listening. Thank you very much.
Uncle Tommy, when
Go
you
ahead.
drive through Marbella Road, nearly all the owners who had the business, the food place and restaurant and all them things, today none of them can control them business and them. Today they rent out the business and they see Chinese
You have a caller.
business place and them in Marbella.
Yeah. Let's take the call. We'll revert back to what we're discussing. Caller, you're live. Zakia, listen to us on your phone.
Hello, good afternoon. Uncle Tommy and Mr. Washit and COP, Mr. COP there.
KFC, thank you for calling. Thank you for calling KFC.
Well, Mr. Uncle Tommy and
Yes.
COP, you know what I'm cooking there? Cuckoo and crocro. I want a big crocro, man.
Cuckoo and Croco. You went fishing.
Mr.
KFC,
Uncle Tommy,
yes.
you see all poor people money was going with the friends and P&M Calzonas and them. Excellent contract for lifetime with them fellas and them. And people who bidding for contract, who are literally saying that they are appointed to the UNC, they deny them and give all the friends and family contract and the activists and them. So I gotta put a stop, and my people and them who support UNC for the last 9-10 years, they're going to correct papers and get contract too. You understand, Uncle Tommy?
Of course. I hear you clearly.
And they playing pool like Sean Field and Tom and all of them now having 3 and 4 contract. I don't care about them. Them papi show me a 91.9 because I says the black brother, especially Sean Flips, all the callers and play the trainer, papi show me and hear my little train crying in the background and they victimize me. And that was sitting and boring around, but all of them paying them appointees. They were having contract and them sitting and board too all over on all boards. So they were taking the CPAP contract as a political football tool. Roll up Maxi, then go. They take him back the job from them and all kind of thing and victimizing poor people. I have quite started talking about we take a bread from Purple Mouth, a family with 7 and they're going with $1,400. We have a family with 7. How are you paying your rent? How are you buying food? They always keep people in insurance corridor, giving you CPAP and your RP. That thing had to stop. I look well listening, man.
Yes. Thanks for your call. You know, $1,400 for a family of 7 is ridiculous.
Uncle Tommy, in Marabella here, they built some 1-bedroom apartment. So far as Alwari know, his family has 7. And they're building 1-bedroom apartment for them. 1-bedroom apartment, bulldoze, a set of farmers' land down by Bayshore down there. And if you see the buildings on them, it's 12 feet high. I never see a single unit so 12 feet high. And 1 bedroom, 1 toilet, 1 kitchen. And that is the house there. They tell them they can renovate downstairs and live downstairs. But he no family. You will build a 1 bedroom apartment for 7 family. A family of 7.
That's a shame.
Faris Al-Wari and them had to behave themselves. And there's a new government in charge. I keep telling them the alligators from the Murky Lagoon went and educate themselves. And they take the pressure for 10 years. Now they're in charge. They're in charge. And I'm not saying that with no tribal thinking. I'm saying that because the PNM classify them as alligators in Murky Lagoon. And it's time to pull out the political dagger and push it in the eyes, straight in the eyes. That is what they say. Today, them alligators in charge now. And what they're doing, 98% of the country support them in this style of governance. Uncle
Well,
Tony.
everything is for a time.
Yes. Yes.
Everything is for a time. Nothing lasts forever.
Yes.
Yeah, but
and I also want to tell you, the listeners and them, today's a day all you must subscribe more. I would like to see 1,000 views today. Let everybody know look. WZYE 95.9 live and COP over here live. May I come over here just so I come over here because I want to see views go up. I want to see the numbers go up. Although don't make me waste my time over here. Show support. I showing support. Always show support too. And subscribe. Thank you.
That's right. Share the live. Share the live.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, COP.
What else? Go ahead.
What else is burning?
Amazing. Where all them callers and them? Where all them callers? Good afternoon to you, Patricia Reid. And my next PNM, Gordon Maloney. Good afternoon to you. Always part of the show too.
Well, first, like I said, we had
the Revenue Authority. I feel Felicia Thomas is the right person to speak for the Revenue Authority. But in my view, the kind of money them spend for this Revenue Authority, Uncle Tommy, why didn't fix that? Why didn't use that money to fix what we have now and ensure it work transparent? That is what I can't understand. And why it is they trying to take away people benefit? The whole thing with this Revenue Authority is to get to mash up the union and them, to mash up the union and to ensure, in my view, that you take away the benefits from the people and them. People who work 20 years, give them the benefits first. Give them the benefits first. And then say, well, you go and think the revenue. You tell me the people that may get nothing. Uncle Tommy, petrol workers and them. I see them down Point 14 and the knees begging for the medical and all kind of thing. Right now they're dying out.
They left
all the years of service of the people and them. Why? And we must support them as human beings. Why a human being must support the wrong of a government? And when people speak out about it, speak against it, there's a UNC. Why? Them things should never happen in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, well,
the government is not. You can remember when they wanted to close down Petrotrin, they saying the workers was working for 40,000 and 50,000 and that's a big money. You have a call?
I have a call. Let's take this call. Welcome to WZYE. You're live.
That's not even Uncle Tommy and your co-host, Kunji.
Defender, thank you for calling in.
Uncle Tommy.
Go ahead, make your point.
It's not a point. I want to bring an observation, right? It's a lady, but used to call 919 by the name of Gemma, Swanky Gemma.
Yes, she went to the other side.
Right, but her funeral was sometime, I think if not, sometime recently there.
Yes.
So I went to take the funeral on live, right? And you know what shocked up, what stood out to me, Uncle Tommy? Not a supporter, not an activist, not a Pastor Google, not a Sharon Felix, not a Aisha Wells in attending this woman's funeral. Show support for celebrating of life. And this woman used to call the radio religiously. But that is how PNM people think about each other.
Well, it's PNM Gemma, but maybe PNM dead.
Exactly. Because she buried a red suit and Uncle Tommy. I remember when she used to call radio. She says that she born at PNM and she going to die at PNM.
I heard they had balizes and all decorated.
Yeah, Uncle Tommy. Not a councillor, not a MP. So don't come out and support this woman celebration of life. That was sad, Uncle Tommy. That was really sad.
That
someone else bring that to your attention.
Well,
enjoy evening.
Thank you. That speaks volumes about the PNM. Thank you again, Defender. Go ahead, COP. Make the point you were making.
You see that when you speak about Gemma there? The years, 27 years, I have been part of political talk show programs. And in them years, the amount of PNM senior citizen activists passed away. And if them did get proper medical attention, most of them would have been alive today. The PNM never show no interest in these people. And when they passed away, family members had to go and apply NIS. I can remember this Calypsonian, many of this Calypsonian, DeForsto, and Rootsman.
Yeah.
I can remember when Rootsman was on radio. The last word Rootsman tell me, and 2 days after he passed away, he said, my pots on them empty. My pots on them rusty. It have nothing in the kitchen. Take your call.
Let's take this call. We'll pick up where we left off with Rootsman. Caller, you live. Welcome to WZYE. Caller, you live. You're live. You're on WZYE.
Uncle Tommy, good evening to you.
With Mr. Brooklyn?
I should say, yes, this is Brooklyn, and good afternoon to COP. You know, it's nice that you all could carry on this.
Forget your name.
Again today, and good evening to Washington, wherever he is with the family this Sunday afternoon.
Brooklyn.
Now, watch, Uncle Tommy and COP. You know how sad it is to see that when that woman was alive, everything they having, every charity, everything they having on 91.9 with Google. Google used to make sure you get a little money from that woman, and that woman was a pensioner. That woman used to call and say, Google are sending it, Google are doing this, and yes, he gained it again. And to hear that a person who is considered to be a pastor, a man of God, after this woman was helping in every charity, even if Google had to walk to that funeral, Google should have been present for that woman, especially the support she gave him. That woman used to be cussing me on the radio too when I talk about Rowley. Leave my prime minister alone. Rowley, that dog, I should say, Rowley, that dog should have made it his duty his duty to leave whatever he had to do to show his face in that woman's funeral, to give the support, not because he walked away and he abandoned the party, but to see how that woman support since she was 4. She used to say, Brooklyn, I was at PNM since I was 4 years old. PNM used to have meeting in my mother's house. I was at PNM. That woman used to eat, sleep, drink. You couldn't say nothing wrong. And you telling me that woman passed away, right? And not even a strength from one of the high representatives in the PNM to say farewell, thank you for your support. I want all the other elderly people who today's PNM, who today don't have a proper hospital to go to because of what the PNM did for the last 9.5 to 10 years. The UNC would try to do their best, but it wouldn't happen immediately. It wouldn't happen in the first year. It might not even happen in the first 2 years without things in the condition and the things we had to face. But if there's one thing Kamala Prasad did, was to make sure she gave schools, she gave hospitals, she gave police stations. I believe she even gave fire stations in the 5 little years she was there. I want all to remember and see how our PNM people are dying without a thank you for the support that you all want to dead PNM, or they want to be red till all the dead. The one from Caranage, the same thing. The one from Caranage, Andrew was living in a Governor shed, and the day he did, they burned it down. They burned down his shed. I see that on social media. Andrew was a man, they couldn't talk the PNM bad. These are PNM people. Lagoon man. Them fellas dead and not a support. I want to tell the one who just called Mommy, who say Rowley, and she and Rowley, everything. I want to tell she, I hope she watching the pattern of the PNM party that she so encourage people to support. You hear? Because when all they dead and gone, the PNM didn't even watch it. All the words nothing to that party. COP and Uncle Tommy, Trinidad and Tobago, only have a blessed afternoon. Eh? It's a sad thing to see that. Only take from them old people, and when they're dead, only come to show their face and support and use a pastor. I God.
Thank you, Brooklyn. COP.
And Brooklyn, every time I say my partner from foreigners, your name has been forgotten, huh? Good afternoon to you and your family.
COP, you were talking about Rootsman.
Yeah. Uncle Tommy, Rootsman tell me everything he had nothing in the kitchen. He said all the pots and them rusty inside there. I say, Rootsman, and you're still supporting the PNM? He said, but that's how the community is. He said, if I support the UNC, he said, if I support the UNC, 99% of the community supporting the PNM. And no matter what, the UNC win in them areas. And them. Take a call.
Call her at the top of the hour. I'm gonna go for the top of the hour. Call me back after the top of the hour.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right, Uncle. You going on top of the hour now?
Yeah, I'm gonna do top of the hour, and we'll pick it up from there. Yeah, but it's really sad.
Welcome to WZYE TV 95.9 FM. We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. and on Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Yes, welcome back to WZYE. This is Let's Talk Politics with COP and Uncle Tommy. You could reach us here at 973-609-6509. The number here is 973-609-6509. Mr. Maloney, welcome.
Yeah.
973-609-6509.
Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Maloney.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. I hear they calling him Kunji. I don't know if that is your real name. I like to address people by their real name. But if it's okay with you, Kunji, good afternoon to you, the listeners, the others, and the rest. For those who might be listening, tuning for the first time, my name is Gordon Bernard Maloney. That's on my birth paper, given to me by my mother, and I love those names. Well, I had to it the first, but my big brother died, so I become the first. And I made a commitment never to lie or to tell more than anybody. I may make a mistake in what I'm saying, but once it is brought to my attention, I will address it. I have a couple of points I want to throw in.
Go ahead, make your point.
For consideration.
Go ahead.
One, definitely, the biggest thing that I'm seeing in terms of what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago and the media, papers, you're seeing it, front page, is about 10,000 people. Nobody can give an exact figure. I ain't 10, I ain't 11, but about 10,000 people will be sent home with immediate effect. Now, I didn't hear, well, okay, in 3 months' time, this will happen or that will happen, or in 2 weeks' time, this will happen or that will happen. So maybe that is the case. So I wouldn't stay longer than is necessary on this point. But I am wondering, and somebody might tell me, if those persons who are going home only voted based on the code yellow, if those persons who are going home, if all of them saying that when UNC win, I win. I just wondering. All right, so I want to stay long on it based on the fact that I don't know if next week we will hear something that will alleviate whatever effect that would have had. All right, next point. I am one of those, and I believe, if not all, most country lovers, which I put up my both hands and my both feet, will not support the idea of somebody becoming a prime minister or any leading position for 1 day, for 1 week, for 1 month, and get the kind of pension that Mr. Young was supposed to have gotten. I don't think any serious thinking country lover will support that. Definitely not me. Because the normal scheme of things, I mean, somebody going to a job, they're required to work. I mean, it have contract, but it have jobs where it's generally 3 months. They want to see you operate, they want the thing. They could extend the 3 months, or you could, become permanent after that. And after you get permanent, well, they have all these different entitlements. But if you work 1 year, it will not be the same as if you work 20 years. So I believe that I have no challenge, no difficulty in agreeing that that should not have been. But I am saying that conscious of the fact that that had something to do with the system that I keep preaching, teaching, that's now I'll start to sing, that it should change. The systems we have, a lot of them need to change. Now, I endorse the government taking that position to change it. Well done. I put my hand up and I said, well done, UNC Coalition of Interests. All right? But I'm saying, I don't think you oppose that any less than you oppose the salary increase, your description, that Dr. Rowley gave himself, which is obviously not true. This was given by a body. A body recommended this, and this was accepted by the parliament. All right? So you oppose that, you cry, you bawl, you roll and scream on the ground. And you decided that ain't good. And all of that, I am sure, helped influence how the people vote. But you get a chance now to come and address that. Just how you address the pension that Mr. Young's supposed to get. And you get rid of that, and I put up my hand, my foot, everything, and I tell you, yes, well done. But I want to see you address that too. Why? Why I want to see you address that too? The new salary? Because you oppose it. Oh God, don't flip-flop on me now. You oppose it vehemently. You say that, no, they give themselves this, they and you get the 6.5 and they buy into that. Obviously, that would help influence some of the vote because people been told about 4%. Help people to 4% and that is what you accepting. Now I understand that is not just you, it's not just the politicians. It's about 900, I'm told. So I am saying, as I've always said, that system should change. And I am hoping that those who are in the front line here would lead the pack in trying to change the system. And because listen, this could come around again, you know. This could come around again, and I'm hoping that we fix it so that if it come around again, it will not be like how it went. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share.
Thank you for your contribution. We'll talk to you later. COP, what do you think about the first question, which was the CPEP? He addressed CPEP first.
I don't think Gordon was. He mentioned that he promised not to lie and thing again, but I think he using deceitful vocabulary, and I feel he just being ungrateful because he being disingenuous. Because the government not saying, it's not the government saying 11,000 workers going home. That's what the PNM saying. Faris Alwari mentioned that for me time to lose, but the government not saying that. If they want to be honest, the government saying 360 contractors get the contract 2 and 3 days renewal before the general election, and the CPEP contractors and them is what getting fired. I know hear nothing about 11,000 workers. I hear about the CPEP contractors and them. And when the CPEP contractors and them change, whoever getting back them CPEP contract and them to do what the job required to do is a community enhancement program, is a program to develop communities, not to make politicians millionaire. It going back to that. So when the new contractors them come back, people from the community will get back the work.
The same persons.
The same persons and them will get back the work because those are the CPEP workers and them. But when you're using political strategy and hypocrisy, you're not just fooling me and Uncle Tommy. You're fooling the 12-year-old boy and the 12-year-old girl, the 16-year-old boy.
Hold your thought. Let's take this call. Caller, you're live.
Good afternoon, Wall Street, Uncle Tommy. And finally, we put in our faces, COP. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Right? Yeah, you're right. That is lie. I don't lie, and I don't pelt mud, but I spell boulders. And as you rightly said, COP, that was only coming from the PNM, Imbert, Faris, and Penelope, excellent Penelope, and everybody who wanted to pelt boulders. Nobody said anything about 11,000 workers, right? They put their own spending. But you know what I find very disturbing? Where was that sanctimonious hypocrisy when CPEP workers, Cavalry Greens workers, Petrotrin workers, ArcelorMittal, and a whole set of people were sent home when the PNM came into office in 2015? Where were they? Where was that attitude? Where was that passion that all you that at that time, Uncle Tommy and COP, nobody was studying who had to get books, who had to get uniforms, who had to get bags and whatever. No, because it was UNC people that was going home, or so they assumed. But I want to ask a question before I leave. How many UNC supporters receive contracts and jobs, right, in CPEP under this PNM government in the last 9.7.28 years? How many? All of them were PNMites, every single one of them. If you were, or if you smell like a UNC, you ain't getting no job in CPEP. And we saw what they did to Bellman. And that man said it, Lovell said it on the platform. You lost the election, Bellman, we coming for your contract. He said it. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz. She gone?
Yeah, she gone.
When Rowley become prime minister, Rowley say anybody in any ministry, not on the PNM side, they will be fired. And he did fire all of them. Who not supporting the PNM agenda, they went home. They went home.
That's standard practice.
Yeah. We as citizens of this country, we should applaud the United National Congress for transparency, accountability, and the way they're supposed to run governance. Because I watch them. To send home those contractors and them in the PNM eyes, that might look bad. That might look bad in the PNM eyes. But towards the citizens of this country and the UNC supporters. So let me be real and let me be frank comment over here. So PNM still want them PNM contractors and them to have them contracts on them. So what about the UNC supporter? What them supposed to do? Those contracts on them now is for the UNC activists and them, for the UNC activists and them in the community and them. And it's small contracts that, Uncle Tommy, that company was designed for small contractors in the community, you know, working in the community, hiring people from their community. For the past 10 years, that was not so.
But it's really a shame what these workers are being paid, though. Can they possibly live off of that?
Is the PNM encouraged that to be so? I remember when Jack Warner was Works and Transport Minister, he said he's going to raise URP money by $69 a day and the money more. That was $69 a day. They say no. That's a position that we don't want to be in. That is private positions. And they make joke and laugh out of it. Them accept $2 under the PNM. Them deny $69 and accept $2 raising URP. When the People's Partnership wanted to raise CPEP money, is the PNM self what chastise that and protest against that and fight against that? You say hear them at 91.9. I used to be asking myself, why them don't want poor people to get more money? Why them don't want poor people to get money? And also the evidence there that under the 5 years, under the People's Partnership, CPEP money was raised. It wasn't so when the PNM was over there, you know, when before the People's Partnership take over, you know, it was less than that, you know. URP money, Uncle Tommy, was $350 a week over here, you know. Uncle Tommy.
Wow.
And it's when the People's Partnership come in there, they raise those things, you know. Uncle Tommy and citizens all over the country. In 1985, old age pension was $65 in this country. Minimum wage wasn't even $1.50. It's when Basdale Pandey come over there. Basdale Pandey started raise, the UNC started raise minimum wage and wages to the people in this country. For all the years under the PNM, public servants is to get 1%, 0.001%, 0.001, 0.001. How many years we hear that? 0.001 is when the People's Partnership and the UNC come in and take office again. We are here 1. We hear 5. We hear 14. And we hear 15. Take a call on them.
Let me play this voice note and hear what this guy has to say here. Let's hear this voice note. I know it's Maloney, but let's hear what he has to say.
But Miss Murray, who anybody told once we get into power, everybody win and all kind of thing? 1, 2. At what time of the reign of the previous government did this happen? Also, those things are the normal thing that happens with enterprises. The normal thing that happens with enterprises. All right? And we see that people who were sent home, maybe you don't know. You don't know what they got. If you see how some of them sitting down nice, they have a word to say no. 1, they get a nice package. 2, you know they get back employment in the same property, not necessarily under the same kind of management and system. They get back work right there. So it has been out genius, not just disingenuous. It has been out genius to try to compare and put it like it's the same thing. No, it is not. It is not even chalk and cheese, because it has some cheese white and it has some chalk white. No, it is fish and mango. Oh gosh, let me get it right now. Let me love country more than party now. Oh gosh. COP, many of my friends, as I told this platform, I have friends in all the major parties. All the major parties. Because God is love, I have love in my heart, I have hate for nobody. I may disagree with your politics. I disagree with your politics, but as a human being, a fellow citizen, hey, there's no qualms there at all. And I have UNC friends, right, who have people working with them as contractors. UNC. And somebody asked the question, when the PNM came, didn't they give them time? They didn't just change them right away and drop it on them suddenly like that? Tell me if I lie, Miss Anne-Marie.
When the people started, what did they raise secret money? Is it PNM? Is it PNM? What chastise that?
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Washington, my brother COP.
KFC.
You see, a man was talking about God is the most evilest, wickedest man. But Pastor God, he died, he passed and died, he God. And them evil and wicked. My girl Spanky John, which is so rest in peace. Maybe we had one to see when we were Spanky.
Go ahead, KFC.
But I'm wrong there,
You're in and out, but go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, am I wrong? I'm wrong. I was on a program with Twiggy.
KFC. Sis.
People
are wicked. People more deceitful, wicked, heartless people, you know. Them don't like poor people, you know. I grew up in
KFC.
And now you're a that political spellball too for the PNM. As well, the PNM activists, they was given that them contract too. I know all of them, especially URP. Parasham was controlling URP. And all was getting contract. That was the only PNM people was getting contract there. Like Bellman, Shopnapper too, get their papers correct. And go back and get contract. And the sooner you could and beat them down there, they take away. And let PNM put contract down, they take away, maybe a contract of she get back. And they say they will get contract and the plan will get back the bread and they go eat. We had to eat too because PNM making sure when the friends and family eating and plus ministers and all that, they eating the biggest pie. They're just using poor people for political football, especially the PNM. So Gordon Joseph Hall, evil, wicked PNM, but I don't like them PNM plan, but I love to understand. Bless.
Bless. Thanks for the call.
Uncle Tommy.
Yes.
Malone, he not being fair. He not being honest and he not being fair. He trying. But he not being fair. He say he have UNC friends and they have contracts and things. Let me tell you something. You see a limited company in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Uncle Tommy. You see limited company that pay tax and things. The state can really victimize these people and them much. We're not speaking about them companies, them big million dollar companies and them. They qualify to get contracts and PNM UNC can't really stop these people them from their work. You see the small companies and them, like the CPEP companies and them, the community who's supposed to be seen about community, these are the people and them, the small people that we're speaking about Gordon Joseph. And the PNM was brutalizing and victimizing them.
All right, let me take this call.
Right.
We'll resume after the call. Caller, you live.
Good afternoon, Uncle Tony.
Same to you.
And COP, your guest on the other side.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Tommy and your guest, I would like to ask a question. This is Southwestern UNC and proud.
Thanks for calling.
I like to ask questions because I don't like to make myself too much of a big fool. I like to make it a small fool. Now, there's something called due process, and there is governing law, there is bylaw, and there is law. Now, these things comparing to law, is it not that you have to follow the law or the bylaw or the rules what obtained in the institution it belongs to at the moment? And if the law states that after dissolving parliament, the ministers don't have the right to issue contract. The permanent secretary and them is the public servant who do the work, and the ministers vetted and okayed. Now, if that contract was given out, that means the permanent secretary would have prepared all those contracts. So if the permanent secretary write up all that contract and give it out, where is the parliament or the cabinet approval for that ministry to renew those contracts? Uncle Tommy, asking that question. Is it that is the law and this is what it's supposed to be like? Accent. Because if the permanent secretary is the one running the ministry organization to that ministry, that organization, and have an independent board, the board has to answer to the minister, the government, and every board has to go to the parliament to get approval. But that accent, is that it follow? So you see now, when you take away in time of 500 years ago on the plantation, the overseer was the one who seen master way and having the workers in a humane condition for them to be loyal to master. So, but in this case, in Trinidad, for far too long since 1953 coming up the road, that was the model and the true identity how the PNM was built to keep the supporters in bondage. And they so feel now that when these contractors lost away, the workers, I don't want to say the workers, they benefited. But for the last year, they were sending home CPEP workers, treating them like dogs. Yeah? They give them uniform. So if a proper audit should be taken to the contractors and them and make sure that everything is up to date and the financial audit, which is for renewal of contract, if you don't find it, you jail them for fraud. Because if every time you put a bid for a contract and get a contract renewed, your financial audit and accounts supposed to be updated and presented for renewal. And if that is not the case, jail all of them. Have a nice day, Uncle Tommy. And
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What do you say, Kenji? 10 out of 10.
Yeah, take 10 out of 10. Uncle Tommy and citizens all over that listen to this program. When you hear the PNM talking about poor people now and saying it's the smallest people that go and they're cutting the work and 11,000 going on. Uncle Tommy, under all the oil boom we had in this country, it was under the PNM, you know? Them never raised minimum wage, them never raised disability grant, them never raised pension, them never raised something to raise so that the vulnerable could get independent life. Government responsibility is to make the citizens of the country life better, you know.
That's
to
correct.
ensure that the future of this country have proper schools, proper community facilities, health centers in this country. You know, PNM never say about those things. If you go in all the PNM constituency, what they're talking about, it have vulnerable and need social assistance. How come for all the years they never develop the community? How come they never, all the years they never give the mothers and fathers opportunity? How come all of a sudden they're fighting for opportunity now? When you over there to bring opportunity in your electoral district, you deny the people and them. When the United National Congress come in office and saying, well, all right, we're going to bring opportunity in all the electoral district, you have a problem with that. You have a problem with that, PNM. The responsibility of our government is not to make the ministers and them millionaire. The responsibility of our government is to make the people life better. Better roads, better schools, better opportunities. We never had that for the past 10 years, and not just for the past 10 years, every time the PNM in power.
And most of all, security and safety.
And safety, and every time the PNM in power, the country lack that representation. Every time the PNM in power, we get the worst. But when the PNM come in power in 2015, 98%, let me don't say that, 95% of the roads and them in this country is to look just like Tobago Road, you know. We had good roads. We had health center in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago opening 24 hours under the People's Partnership. Why these mothers and fathers and them don't want a health center open 24 hours a day? Why? Why all they don't want proper schools in all the community? It's not the PNM money they're taking. It's not your, it's taxpayers' money, me and your money they're taking to fix we community. And all they don't want that. How come Gordon Maloney go say, well, look, 11,000 people going home and he don't want to? He asking, how come all you fix the schools and them in Piccadilly and especially the black communities? How come them things don't interest these people and them? Take the caller.
Yeah, let me take this call. Caller, you're live. You're live on WZYE.
Good afternoon, Uncle Tommy. Hear me loud and clear?
Yes, CEO. Yes, KFC.
No, they're running from the community, from Lavanti and running in the Indian community to develop their community. But they're not staying in the community to develop the community. Look at by Scotland, Duncan Street, Nelson Street, Duncan State, Piccadilly School, Simple Life School, who concern voting PNM. They're not building the community. Mr. Uncle Tommy, I'm going to tell you stink and wicked and deceitful PNM is there. Sean Phillips was at 91.9 for the last 9 years. She rubbing shoulders with Terra Diaz because she was camping with that man, right? The literally said I was working for 4 years. She called them ponging me. KFC, you can't be working in RP and collecting disability. I literally say. So, you know when they lost election, you know, this deceitful, wicked Sean Felix calling me about 2 days after election, congratulations, when they're going go by yourself and not going nobody. And when she could have been calling the ministers and saying, "My report my black brother, because you have 2 little children, they have in the background." Them don't help out black people. So you know when they run away from the community, coming in Central long here and living, they say to build up the community and the concern for the PNM, the donkey years. So I looked and listened how evil that thing PNM is, but bless.
Thank you, KFC. Yes, COP.
Badmana, let me say good afternoon to Badmana. Badmana say, don't worry about black people. Nah. COP, don't worry about black people now. I'm not worrying about black people. I worrying about the citizens of this country. If you don't concern about the future of your community, I concern about the future of this country. I'm giving KFC 10 out of 10 too. I'm giving KFC 10 out of 10 too. When you look at it, all them talk show hosts and them from 91.9, name he just called over there. They say them had contract here, contract there, 3-4 gangs. But he could now work at URP and get a social assistance grant. Why? And them could get from here, there, and everywhere. The PNM supporters, the PNM activists, and the PNM ministers and them don't care about the vulnerable in this country. Uncle Tommy, for the 10 years, that 9 years, 7 months, 28 days, the PNM was in office. You see that children life fund? 83 children, 83 children, bad men, die in this country because the state deny them that funding to go for medical attention or bring doctors over. 83. That not Keith Rowley mother and father money. That not the PNM money. Like taxpayers' money. And why as human being? Why all as human being? Take the call, Uncle Tommy.
Caller, you live.
Good evening again, Mr. Tommy. Good evening, Mr. Anson Wells. Good evening, COP. Mr. COP, don't forget the children in Nico who die also for lack of infrastructure in our hospital. The babies who die. You see, everyone, all them PNM, you know how it does know a PNM? 2 things it does know a PNM. They say election done, time to move on, and do talk about PNM, the past, talk about it. That is how it does know a PNM. But let me see how they mismanage this country. You remember Train 1? How much money they give to Train 1 when they say not to try to fix Train 1 because they don't have enough natural gas? And all them big men in the company were indemnity. Second thing, that's a few examples of the mismanage this country. $1 billion in an investigation against the UNC, and we find nothing. Right? They close down petrol train, they close down the steel mill, they close down. How many taxes do people were paying back into this country? Now they hear next propaganda about the CPF workers 10,000 or 11,000. But you know the question is the workers not gonna lose a job. It's the contractors and them who have the contract. You see, they don't want the money to spread in the community to develop the community, you know. What they're hoping and banking for, they have a PNM stronghold, a voters bank, keep them dependent, not independent and dependent for a handout. And they believe that the people them want, because that is what they deserve. But the majority of people in these PNM stronghold eyes are open because there's younger generation. The old ones of them who die in the ways with PNM, they're not existing no more. A lot of them go and take them, they're going to heaven, wherever it is. You see, the mismanagement of this country for the past 10 years, they will never talk about it today. You know where they come to talk about now, where UNC going to get the money from. That is the whole conversation. But they will not talk about the mismanagement for the past 10 years. You telling me $1 billion to investigate the UNC? $1 billion? Do you know how much is $1 billion? Do you know how much people could have helped with $1 billion? But they know they will never, and then the other factor too, the money that's missing in the treasury, they find all kind of excuses to say that, oh, is this a misprint, is this and that, right? But you know what they still talk about? Live sports. How much? $150 million compared to $3 billion. You see how these PNM people stick in their head? They will never talk about the mismanagement for the past 10 years, and they will continue going on that path, but people's eyes are opening. You see, it's only few and far in between. That's not the same people saying the same thing over and over the PNM sycophants. People disagreeing with them now. The scene in Parliament right now, the transparency, where the money. You see, for that money for Stuart Young, you see the whole opposition did not vote on it. They abstained because they know it's wrong. So let them continue these few and far in between. Gordon Joseph, all again extinct. And it's about time. Look on this thing, guys.
Thank you. Yes, COP.
Yeah, Uncle Tommy. I'll give him this caller here 10 out of 10 too. Take 10 out of 10 too.
Yeah, Mr.
Uncle Tommy, that children life on that wasn't created by the PNM. That created
by Kamala.
By caring ministers and government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Take your caller.
Yeah, we have Defender. Defender, you're live.
Uncle Tommy and COP.
Yes, sir.
I saw something happen in the Parliament recently that I never, in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, saw this before. And we need to bring this on the forefront. An independent senator stood up and brought a standing order for a government minister in the Parliament on Friday.
3 times.
That is very, very dangerous grounds we are walking on. With the integrity about these, integrity of these independent senators. The president of the Senate had also stand up and tell her, ma'am, that standing order we just raised there is totally wrong. Even not because it's not for you, because the minister said the government was trampling on the treasury. And an independent senator raised a standing order against that, Uncle Tommy. I was shocked, I wonder if you understand any seriousness of that, Uncle Tommy. The independent senators are just to do what they need, to be independent thinkers and be the defenders of the people.
Clearly, there is no independence.
PNM and UNC.
Clearly, there was no
and Uncle Tommy, that is a very, very, very dark day in our Parliament.
Troubling.
Because that whole same independent bench voted against the government for the Children Life Fund. Uncle Tommy, I wonder if you understand the seriousness of what is happening in our Parliament. And I was told today, I was only corrected today, or their name are not, the name of the senators are not independent senators. They are president-picked senators. There's no way the Constitution said independent senators. So, Uncle Tommy, this is a very serious time, and we need to keep this one alive, because how can an independent senator or a president-picked senator call a standing order for a government or ex-government? Enjoy it, Uncle Tommy. I wait till you respond to this.
Thank you. And we'll have to eliminate that name independent when there's dependency.
And Uncle Tommy, they had no place to raise that standing order, you know. That is for the minister, the PNM ministers, them can raise that standing order, you know. The PNM ministers and them even raise that 46, only using 46 ones. She had no place over there in that, you know. But if the president, Christine Kangaloo, she's a past PNM member for over 30 years.
This is true.
For over 30 years. Hold all different ministries and them. Not in my head right now. Hold all different ministries and them. And she pledged and begged the citizens of this country to spread the gospel of the People's National Movement. Today she is president. Do you believe that she will really choose independent people, or is PNM people that she take from PNM party group and make them so-called independent senators? For that Children Life Fund, 9 of them independent senators vote against that. You know? Why is all the PNM MPs and them vote against it too? You know? So them independent senators and them.
Let me take KFC call.
Are more important.
Yes, KFC, go ahead.
Yeah, Uncle Tommy and my boy COPD. The first time I hear the president talk, the PNM kangaroo president, to the statement that is swearing at the government. You know what she said? Bring back the merit points, because she brother passed away and somebody passed away. Them is not independent senators. Them is PNM senators. Them sent with the PNM with every bill. Who sent with the PNM 14? Who sent with them 13? Everything. Them is not to make this country go forward. Them feel it's a PNM country, but it's not PNM country. You remember Kamala's statue team? It's a government for everybody. The PNM is only sick about the friends and family and take away from the poor class. COP and Mr. Washington, it's about youth man, right? He's a big PNM activist. He cannot slow now. But it'll be seen him and all in the PNM rally up and I'm structuring them. You know that youth man, you say get disability. You know the PNM take away the money for me? I see when they say they catch him selling water and take away that man money for me. And I travel my same person through the square sometime. The man I went out Jersey in 2010 with the Honorable Patrick, with Mrs. Patrick Mannon, you know. They said I short young right hand. I said call him Rowley. Yeah, man telling me in the square, you know, they take away his money and he's a big strong supporter in the PNM, you know. I saw that wicked PNM is they take away things.
KFC.
And he read.
You hear me, the KFC?
KFC muted.
You muted? Let him finish.
KFC, you muted your mic. He's gone.
KFC, when the PNM take away and Gordon Joseph, when the PNM take away the food card from 18,000 vulnerable citizens of this country, there's not a problem with that.
True. Let's take this call. Caller, you live.
Good afternoon again, Uncle Tommy, COP, and to everybody out there.
Yes, Miss Anna.
Now, we heard, and as you all keep saying it, Christine Kangaloo was talking about preaching the gospel of the PNM in every home, in every nook and cranny. We heard recently right, from Marvin Gonzalez about PNM propaganda and preaching the gospel and the PNM again, right? And it was no surprise that we heard an independent senator pulling a standing order. That alone proved that they are not independent.
True.
In all my years listening to that Parliament and Senate, I've never heard, and maybe Gordon might say a lie, because you know everybody's a liar for Gordon. He's the only one who speaks the gospel truth, right? I've never heard a PNM senator, an independent senator calling any standing orders. Now, they debated that, I'll go back to the child's life fund, right? They debated that bill. Dr. Murray asked for changes to be made in the bill. The government acknowledged it and they did it. She even made reference to the visually impaired independent senator. And yet still, even that visually impaired independent senator voted against the bill. And people want to come and tell me that they are independent. I find they should change that to independent. They should rename it the President Senators. Whoever is the president there at the time, name them the President Senators. Because clearly they show that they are not independent. And I heard somebody say today, how come Faris never, I think it was one of the reporters, asking a question, how come the PNM never talk to the independent senators about voting for them? But Faris did. Faris did have a conference with PNM senators about voting for them when he was Attorney General, right? So if it was wrong then, right, wrong now, why it is that the government must not make an appeal to the independent senators to help them pass an important bill? I think it's the TTRE. If I'm not mistaken, I stand to be corrected, right? But they are, and next thing, this thing that is be pushing about PNM education. What PNM education? PNM never pay for nobody education. It's taxpayers' money paid for those education. So they're fooling themselves up since then about PNM education. No wonder we are in the morass that we are in now in this country. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Santa Cruz.
I like that what Ms. Santa Cruz said. It's only a baby will believe the PNM taking them money and paying teachers and them. Them PNM supporters and them tell themselves the PNM taking the money from their account and paying teachers and building school and them. Like taxpayers' money. When you hear PNM say we giving you free education, you take my mother and father money and pay for my education. And you telling me you give me education? You give me nothing. My mother and father sacrifice and pay the tax. And you take that taxpayers' money because you in charge of that money and build school and tell me you give me free education? That's what the PNM used to fool the people and them. But when 18,000 people lose the food card, take the call, everything important.
Yeah, KFC. Go ahead, KFC.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Uncle Tommy and CP. I'll get you what you're saying, man. I tell you it's PNM education. Donkey, yes, you're still poor in the community. We're concerned with the PNM. Watch the community. No proper schools, no proper running water, nothing. Like PNM education, to stay done and notice. Get CPEP, get URP. Like PNM education, not to flip black people and elevate black people. Like PNM education. Of course, PNM run this country for the majority of the time, they say the parachute 2 oil boom. Lavan 2 concern voting, the PNM was the PNM don't supposed to be proper, real nice. And I can tell you, all of them running from the community and coming on the Indian them to live. And they don't like the Indian, the cause Indian them. I listen to the table with Dr. Jedines. They're living in the lagoon. They're studying in Cowpen. The dance. Black people was stopping the education system. Rolling on the platform, see disappointed in black people at the bottom of the ladder. Who stopping the education system now? Who have all the big millions? But the Indian them developing the community. So I don't think that race thing with Beckers and all of them. I know they're going to vote for Storchum to get that money. There's nothing for black people. That's evil and wicked and heartless. Fire burn the PNM by you don't like them PNM plan. No go for me if I have cost.
Hold up, when you cussing.
No cost.
COP?
Yeah, Uncle Tommy.
It look like we raised the hornet's nest today.
Huh?
I said we raised the hornet's nest today, but we had to.
Yes. Take the calls. I want to tell the people on them too. I want to see 1,000 views here today, you know.
Let's take the call. Caller, you live.
Good afternoon again, Uncle Tommy and COP, and to all the listeners on the World Wide Web.
Thank you, Southwestern.
Uncle Tommy, I would like to say something this time around now. Is it that the vulnerable and the needy was deprived under the PNM for the last 10 years? Even so that it went so far as the supporters, the base core, the vulnerable, those who don't need to squat, those who don't need to fend for themselves, and then the little factory work, the little security work, and then you try the government safety net of social delivery. Kid Rowley boasts is $5 billion, only wrong election time. Where all that money went? And now you're seeing that the people know that they were deprived of their rightful life, a comfortable life, with reasonable food prices, reasonable utility bills, because our country generates enough revenue. Now, they see that it still have some. The UNC wanted to help those children who and the parents cannot fit a bill, but they could get a little life surgery to save their life. You know that it's nice to know, right? I will ask this question now. To know that the disability and the visually impaired, well, congratulations, Your Excellency, for putting a person like that in the Senate for the history. But I want to ask this question. For the last 10 years, when the Blind Welfare Association, they were begging for the money for the little stipend, for a little betterment, dilapidated office, and then they fallen in hole and damaging themselves with dilapidated pavement. Then the PNM robbed the citizen blind. They robbed them blind, their own supporters. And now you're seeing that a physically challenged person in the Senate vote against a bill to help the vulnerable. Uncle Tommy, you see what the kind of things we have to go to? But I would like the citizen to come out and ask the president to move Vera from the Senate because the independent more on seat because he's a custodian of state brief. And then we have to go now and ask the president to revoke his appointment to the independent bench. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, Southwestern.
Take 10 out of 10. Take 10 out of 10. Them only care about, them only peer, them only saying they care about vulnerable now. Them didn't matter about vulnerable. Uncle Tommy, when 18,000 people lose the food card, that was 18,000 vulnerable. When the civil policy children, for the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, the People's Partnership give them $2,500 and that was enough. Yeah, them take that away from them. Take the call.
Yes, welcome to WZYE. You're live.
Good afternoon, Uncle Tommy. Good afternoon, COP.
Good afternoon, young lady.
How are you guys doing today?
Great, thanks. And yourself?
I'm okay. COP, do you remember when Patrick Manning did pass that free maxi for the kids back in the days in 1992 when he came into power.
When he...
You remember that?
When he did what?
Pretty much, he says.
When he what, Uncle Tommy?
COP, you remember that?
I hear she properly.
That worthless idiot. Yeah, he passed it and then when he didn't want to pay the drivers, then he cut it out.
The school children, Maxi and them.
Back then.
Yes.
When he first came in, he tried to do some changes and he didn't do squat. I can't hear you, COP.
I said that is a fact.
Yeah. So this president here, that so-called Blight Kangaloo, dog without no teeth, she is useless. Okay? Very useless. Them independent senators independent my butt. Okay? Them useless. They ain't doing nothing for the country. And just now, as Anil say, in next year, she going to demit office. So I'm glad. I hope they vote she out too. Them useless PNM. All right, brother. I will talk to you again.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Yes, COP.
It is a shame to see people who classify themselves as a human being and God-fearing people speaking about discrimination today. You don't speak about discrimination biasly and convenient. You speak about discrimination right through. For 10 years, the vulnerable in this country was discriminated by the PNM. Most vulnerable. They get no raise in salary, nothing. And you care about it. Take the call.
He hung up. His call was very scratchy. Yeah. But it's top of the hour. It should be top of the hour by now. Right. It's almost top of the hour. 2 minutes. Right. But I can go to the top of the hour.
2 minutes again. You hear me there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Let me do the top of the hour.
You can play a voice note.
All right, let me do that. I'll do so. Let me see whose voice note is here. I see Maloney.
Yeah, play Maloney.
And Uncle Tommy, it's a while now. It's years now. We're having problems in the parliament. Since in Dr. Eric Williams days, alive, you know, I wouldn't deliberately do that. Since in Dr. Eric Williams days, a man say in parliament they kicks in. And some who ain't kicks in, they line bad. Eh? They won't talk about that. They will leave that for the PNM to talk about. All right? But the country lovers wouldn't forget that because we have something in our brain. Okay? We friends say his mother-in-law tell him, I love his mother-in-law. No? Yeah. A man hold up a piece of paper and say it is sub-judiciary. Sub-judiciary. We can't talk about it. Hold up a piece of paper, no? And then the court had to say, no, it's not so. And life went on normal. Normal after that. But no, the parliament now have a problem. Man, look, all give me a figure now, oranges.
Yeah, let me go to the top of the hour.
It's a while now. It's years now. Suggesting something to you. That ain't suggesting to you.
Let me take that top of the hour.
They all should see that we professional.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Let me play this for a minute.
No more rain, no more rain, no more rain, no more rain, no left foot, right foot again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye, bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not watching for you. We tired of the bloodshed, tired of the taxes, tired of the potholes and all the excuses. Tired of no water, tired of stretching at the law, tired of the high grocery bills. No left foot, right foot again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye, bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not voting for you. We tired of the bloodshed, tired of the taxes, tired of the potholes and all the excuses. Tired of no water, tired of stretching a dollar, tired of the high grocery bills. No left foot, right foot again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye, bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not voting for you. No more rain, no more rain.
Yes, we're back with you on WZYE 95.9 FM. And the phone number here to join us in conversation. By the way, share the live, share the live, share the live. Let's get the numbers up. And the number to join us here with our conversation as we go on our last hour is 973-609-6509. That's 973-609-6509. And that last caller, you can call us back. We had us to go for the top of the hour. Yes, COP.
Yeah, Uncle Tommy, too. I also want to tell Trinidad and Tobago and the citizens of this country, I don't hate the PNM and them. I don't hate the PNM mothers, fathers, grandmothers, and grandfathers. I hate the thinking, the way how they think. Human being was not designed to think so contrary and so deceitful. If something wrong, say it's wrong. If your government, the only way you will get assistance in your community is to speak out. Always seeing, because I just be in those PNM constituency, I seen it need representation for over 50 years. And all it don't call the radio station, all it don't call programs like these, and tell all the government, we need a proper schools in the community. Look, the roads real bad. Mothers and fathers need representation. All it don't do those things. All it just come on the radio station to condemn. And who all it condemning? The people them who representing the people and them. All it wasn't designed to think like that. Take the call.
Let me take the call. Caller, you live.
Hey, Uncle Tommy, pleasant good evening to you and Punji.
Same to
Pleasant
you.
good evening. And I just want to say this. One of the things I get to realize over the years with these low-end jobs called URP and CPEP, but I think CPEP come after URP, is that the PNM government, for them, is about control. So they had these low-hanging fruits jobs where they could manipulate the people's mind, keep them right there, keep them dependent, keep them always asking for a little more, the little that they have right now. I remember when I was working as a laborer. When you're working as a laborer in any company, you intend to get all kind of bad treatment. And if you tell yourself, you know what, see this laboring thing, I have to come out of this thing. And you go and educate yourself, take some special training, whatever course you desire to do. And over the years, when you go and I work as a skilled man now, the treatment has been different. They can't talk, the boss man, the foreman, the supervisor cannot talk to you the way they go talk to a laborer. They can't talk to a skilled man when they go talk to a laborer because they know the skilled man now have a little more knowledge about the work where you go and do. So the PNM now don't want to educate these people and them and work in European CPEP. They want to control them. From the time you start to educate them, it's problems, and that's what they don't want. So the people who supporting the PNM, let me say this before I go. Let's remember a quote from Keith Christopher Rowley. Keith Christopher Rowley said 29,000 people vote for him, and he didn't know one of them. And his masterpiece statement, when coming for COVID, when he chose for COVID-19 vaccine, who live, and who dead. Doctor, not listening.
Thank you for your call.
Take 10 out of 10.
Giving them that. Yeah. COP, let me play this voice note here. Hear what this guy had to say. Let me play this voice note.
To you that the narrative that PNM does only see about their own and they don't care about nobody else. That is suggesting to you that is a quote from the book of Joe Tuishness. Because look what the person you say the person was doing. Look what you say you heard the person was doing. And the PNM stop it. Did the PNM do something wrong? Did it have anything to do with the color that the man does wear? Gosh, but I could say so much, eh?
This God, Valeria. This God.
Play some other voice notes. Let's hear what these other callers say. Let's hear what KFC have to say.
Guys, when Manning closed down Carry Limited and put thousands of people out of a job, where was all of them? Where was?
Hello?
So what, did they go and just rest?
Go ahead, KFC.
Let me start, Uncle.
Go ahead, KFC.
Yeah, Uncle Tommy and TOP. I can say more. Mr. Uncle Tommy, let me tell you what the PNM is doing. 2 months before election, right? The PNM pull up 2 maxi load of young youths and carry them in a rank. What's it again? URP card. The election, you see, I was working for 4 years. I still get disability because it's my daughter. They stopped my money about 5 years and something. 2 months for election, they call me and give me 2 URP card. So in next URP card, somebody was collecting my money, and paying NIS because I had 2 URP card there, and I never got the money in it, And I first pay and play wicked and evil and stink. I see Donald Cox by she ministry and talk to she. 2 years and something. She said she will call me up till now. She never called me. You know what she do? She tells she driver go upstairs. And she come downstairs and give me a big bag and bag. Crinkle lift it up. I feel like a pat down with that. I go by Skip Scotland. Nasty man sting. Wicked even Skip Scotland. He put a letter for me. So I think and I said, Skip Scotland, so you can't call it for my MP and so they said, not constituency thing, you have a problem. You telling me you can't do that. He write a letter for me, you know, and tell me to go and chop it by wicked Donald Cox, you know. People and thing, poor people is, you know, them used to stand up for poor people. You know, Lavantine, Brando, that be better today. We had a good school, good community center. We had this, the pre-Simon Day, a building, a good parliament, that building lapidated, it break down. I know it had homework center, homework for little children, nothing at all. The Bella Community Center down in Silas down there. No homework, nothing at all. Going on for the down there, and I P&M strong all right. So Gordon Joseph will come out and talk, or going to come out and talk for people and P&M in opposition. Them not care what you do at the people. When the five people from Petrotrin, left, right, and center and environs, was in the end from all, you know. So they all care fool everybody, people waking up because that's for them dinosaur. Let's pay them and then want to say pay them until they're dead. Hey, look, stand by, flag by.
Thank you.
Uncle Tommy, you see what
Yes.
KFC did today? It's over 90,000 citizens of this country. And we're not talking about Caribbean people. Citizens of this country lose the job under the PNM for the past 9 years, 7 months, and 28 days.
Let's take this call.
Go ahead.
You're live.
Hey, Uncle Tommy, how are you?
Hey, Miss Georgia. Thank you for calling in. I'm fine.
No problem. I was listening. And, you know, there was a gentleman before KFC, before you played the voicemail, he said it right. Right? At the end of the day, CPEP was never meant to be a permanent job.
True.
Right? At some point, we had to stop depending on temporary programs to sustain us long term, especially when they can be used for political gain. Right? I don't understand why Trinbagonians don't understand they have the power. When you rely heavily on government programs, right, we give politicians control over when we eat, when we live, whether we survive. That is not independence, right? It's time for Trinidad and Tobago, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, to build themselves, demand better, handouts with no strings attached, right? My thing is, you have a government now, and they're doing the people's business. I am fine with them pausing that CPEP program. If you were doing right, you're auditing correctly as contractors and so forth, you have nothing to fear, right? I don't understand why everybody is, and the selective morality and standards gets me, right? People use these selective moralities and standards to build their narratives. I read one of the letters were posted on, I think it was Ian Allen, and they were terminated, or, you know, the contract was ended on clause 15.1 of the CPEP contract, which basically gives the company the right to end the contract at any time. This is something that was in there. This is not even a UNC program. This program started under the PNM. Right? So, like, I believe in education and facts and not emotional out words and this one and that one. Like, come on. I don't understand. Again, I am not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person. I don't believe again in selective
morality and selectively understanding when you're godly and when you're not godly, and what at some point in your life you have to sit down and say, what would Jesus do? Because if you're a God man and you're saying that this is the righteous way thing to do, you had all time to go up to either government, whether UNC or PNM, and say, hey, it is not right what you're doing to the people, right? So you can't have your selective morality for UNC. And like you're judging UNC on one thing and judging PNM. If you have morality, it's across the board. It does not matter. You stand for something, you stand for it across the board. I am fine with CPEP pausing. That is good governance to me. If the government is checking, auditing, and reconstructing and making this work for what it was for. And I don't think a lot of people understood what CPEP, the program, was for. Again, everything is there for you to read. If you can't read, you're illiterate or something like that, you can find somebody who could read it and explain it to you in a best way. But don't go on to the propaganda and the media who have agendas. And we are intellectual people. Let us think and let us bring things forward. And say, well, you know what? That's why I voted for. I want them to understand our money is not there to be squandered. Think about it. If that is your business and you had somebody come in to fix your pool and they show up, or someday they show up, they never fix it, but the pool damage, the water's green, you understand? But, you're not seeing anything for your money. So at some point you'll have an audit. Understand, it's $500 million a year was given to CPEP, and 6 years there was no audit. This is your money. So not because you love a woman or you love a party or you love that you don't do business correctly. Let us be smarter than this. Trinbagonians, we are very intellectual people. And for those who think that there's a lot of us out here who's not intellectual, that's smart, think again. Because in 2030, if you think the elections it was all right, there's not that much people, there will be a swamp of us coming to vote. You understand? Because we are not bringing back a government in here to continue to destroy our country, spend so much money and has nothing to show for it. No way Singapore is better than us. And look at Singapore. We had oil and gas since the 1800s. Come on, Oli, wake up.
Singapore.
Wake up. Stop being abused. You understand the Prime Minister is not superior to you. Without you, there's no Prime Minister. Understand that. He's not superior. You cannot tell me someone working had to work for 10 years to get a pension, but he could work for 5 seconds to get a pension. He is not more superior than the person who put him there. Think about that.
Thank you, Miss Georgia. Thank you very much.
Sorry, but I have to call in to say that it's just too much. Get off the emotional bandwagon, stop the selective morality, and understand you deserve good governance. Hold everybody accountable.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Take 10 out of 10. Uncle Tommy, in 2005, the PNM started a slogan from 2020, this country, can you remember the 2020 vision? This country will develop.
COP, I bought into it. I invested in it and lost my investment.
2020 vision. We passed the year 2020, and today the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is the worst. We have the worst country, the most dilapidated road. And the change that 2020 vision, and they say we're going with 2030 vision. We have 5 years again to reach for 2030 vision. And the PNM was in office. Would we see that vision in 2030? We would see that development what they're speaking about. Uncle Tommy, you see propaganda? The PNM had that, and the PNM know how to fool. The PNM know how to fool human beings, especially supporters of the PNM. They know how to fool them.
Been there, done that.
How it is none of those people who get the PNM education, who they say we get education from the PNM. How come none of them asking that question? Say PNM, we have 5 years again to reach for 2013. Well, all the out of office. Where the beginning of the development? From 2015 for 2020 vision. Where the beginning of that development? Me see 10 schools built under the PNM. Me see 5 hospitals built under the PNM. Me see 7 universities built under the PNM. Me see no highways. Me see no bridges, that because 92% of the bridges we have in this country dilapidated. Me see none of them development. I see PNM friends and families become 10 times richer than there was when there was an opposition or just an ordinary citizen. I see the development of PNM ministers. I see the development of PNM businessmen. That's the development I see. I live in the Point-à-Pied constituency. I live not too far from South Park. And when you watch the development that taking place next to South Park and all them big business and thing going up over there, the PNM work for them. Them developing, but them not supposed to develop. Me and you supposed to develop. Me and you supposed to get opportunity. Our children supposed to get the opportunity. So if we had was to leave the PNM day 22 this election and leave them there for till 2030, it will be cat eating cat. We say 2020 was dog eating dog. 30 is cat.
Let me take this call.
Take the call.
I'll take this call. Caller, you live.
Hey, Uncle Tommy. I want to, and Kunji, I want to add this before I go. I saw an article where some guy, some cleaner from Beaton Garden working in Trinity City, fined $2 million, right? Now I want to give the man thumbs up for giving back the money. But here is the kicker why I would keep telling people that the PNM don't care about black people, especially when they're poor. They give this man $500 working to FC. And they say that is a full reward. When black people have to check their identity, you know. So one of my partners saw the post, you know what he put on that post? He said, as from today, I am no longer a black man, I prefer to be a Chinese. To take that kind of treatment. $2 million this man fined. And they used to give the man the $500 in cash. They gave it in KFC. But these people are in that special place for them, you know. Locked on and listening.
Wow. Wow, what you say, COP?
I give you 100%. I give you a round of applause for that. I give you a round of applause for that. When PNM saying they care about black people, they lie. All right. I don't have no problem with Nelson Mandela. But that Nelson Mandela, the park, they put in Port of Spain. Why they didn't put Kwame Ture or David Mohammed or some black leader that we have in Trinidad and Tobago over here? Why they didn't do that?
Mr. Florida. Yeah, Mr. Florida.
Yeah, Mr. Tommy, you know where I just like the past prime minister, well, not the selected one, the past prime minister, because I don't consider the selected one a prime minister. He said make the rich richer, right? But they in parliament fighting the children life one. They in parliament fighting the laptops. They say if it have a means, that's pretty rich. But your prime minister, your past prime minister, make you rich and give them $1 million in contract. And he never had nothing to say about it. Just to give a few laptops for a few richer and you're making a problem for. You see the double standard?
Yep.
The second big thing, they break down all them people house. Right? They say they're squatting. But just like how you could give out CPF contract before election done, why you didn't give out those people deeds so that when UNC builds up the houses, they guarantee a house? Why you couldn't do that if you care about black people? You see, God know them forget when they break down the people in them house, you know. That is not important to them, and you know it's important to them. Saying, oh, don't throw mud and the red and the yellow. Go on, let me tell you something. You is a die-hard PNM. You know why I'm saying that for? Because for the past 10 years, all them radio stations you used to call into and listen to used to talk about Kamala, and UNC. And you never had a problem with that. But now, this is a media review. We must bring up facts. The mismanagement of the PNM. Nobody is pelting mother now. But in order to fight that case, you have to go back to the mismanagement and bring it up. Why are you fighting this case for? And you know, it's the funny thing. But you go on, there's only UNC corrupted. PNM not corrupted, you know. When the PNM, the past Prime Minister, said $100 million for the urban areas, and it never materialized. You didn't say nothing about that. But now you only want to know where UNC is going to get the money from. What development the PNM did for the past 10 years to generate forex in this country, or to generate income in this country? None. So the same way the PNM was getting money is the same way UNC will get money. You say you're not bringing back property tax, you dreaded property tax, you bring back the property tax. And then you say you're going to use that property tax to develop the communities, but you put it in the consolidation fund. And where the money is. But you won't ask questions for that, you know. But that is why sometimes Gordon, if you want to die a dinosaur, you go ahead and die a dinosaur. But don't bring in me in and say it. Look, listen.
Thank you, Mr. Florida. I see.
But Joseph is just a fighter. He's just a fighter for the party. You can't vex with him 100% for that, but you can stand up and tell him, hey, you change your ways and stand up for the future of this country instead of a political party. It is better to stand up for the future. Professor Wall Street, Uncle Tommy, when you look at it, this street in Port of Spain, Charlotte Street. Take the call.
That's KFC.
Go
ahead, KFC.
Mr. Tommy?
Yes, sir.
What's your pay? You know, for the 40-something years, you know the PNN give me? They give me a big supermarket. They call LB Supermarket, better known as the Labas. You know, they build a 5-star hotel for all the homeless and them in Port of Spain, my city gates. So I didn't take that building and put somewhere, build a gap piece of land and build it far from Port of Spain. So they give you Labas, they give you a building and set the homeless to be in Port of Spain and break down buildings, break down schools. Nothing at all. I hear the Honorable Kamala Society tell Rowley of flip your people and them, especially in Lafanti and in Brown, who concerned voting the PNM, who never forsake the PNM. Rowley troops, and Rowley, nah, them is crap. No matter what, them lost separation, when come out the election time, I give them a little rapi, a little CPAP, I give them a little hamper, go by to Scotland, come along 2-3 months for election, I get a butter bread, the biggest thing in the hamper is a sack of flour. And then going back and forth back the PNM, no matter how hard this government tried to build back this country. It has some wicked and evil as people. Then going back and forth back the PNM, they do that for 2010, 2015, I know them. They're not accustomed with good governance. They're accustomed with bad treatment. So that will be defending this government with the propaganda and the lies, be rocking hard with the UNC. Because I know they have good intention to build back this country. So I looked on listening. Bless.
Thank you, KFC. Thank you. Let's play this voice note.
You want next caller?
Good afternoon, Professor Wall Street, wherever he is, Uncle Tommy, and Mr. COP Okunji. Welcome to the show, man. Good to see you. Let me give 10 out of 10 to my partner KFC for your contribution and to that last caller for she contribution. 10 out of 10, Miss Georgia. Well said. The only thing I can say on this is that the UNC didn't handle the CPEP matter correctly. They should have communicated with the people what they was going to do, so they wouldn't end up in this hot water and all this bureaucracy and this red herring thing that the PNM propaganda is running with. Because that's all they come out to do, it. Run riot attack. But we seeing some people getting some contracts here for six years and all this other thing. I mean, that is what this CPEP business was about, giving people extended contracts like that. What about these workers who working for pittance there? Eh? You're already riding their back now and saying 11,000 of them fired, right? To make it look like it's political things are taking place. But we know that this thing going to be reformed and put back into place. But the UNC should have communicated it better, right? And had they done that, things would have been moving a little more smoother. But that does come like this stupidness that happened up in Venezuela when Maduro talking in rubbish and a lot of foolishness come out of that. Where it end up like flatulence. It smell, you hear it and smell it and it disappears into the air. Same way all the CPEP thing going to disappear by July month when they see new contracts given out, right? And these people get back their job. Because they will get back their job eventually, But there's the rhetoric that run with it. In making the UNC look at it bad. So I hope they'll clean up that. Have a good day, gentlemen. Good to see you there, Kunji. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Tommy, some people didn't realize this could stop the birds from whistling, the fish from swimming, the fowl from crowing. When they line blatantly like that, boy, they forget what our friend mother-in-law what our friend mother-in-law say about a man memory and line. I have said on this platform here that I was disappointed about that $1 million promise that nothing came out of it. I have said that on this platform here and many other things. And many a times when I call in or message, I deal with what is being said. I say that I support anything that is good that the PNM did, but the PNM have not been perfect. No government have been perfect. But when they come up to try to paint a picture to me that the UNC was the perfect government, they were the next thing after heaven. That is when I will show them where that is not so, because people in the UNC showing that that was not so. Oh gosh, boy, blatantly like that, boy. Anyhow, Tommy, make sure and tell that man I ask for his mother-in-law, tell her, say hi for that piece of truth that she have. I hope it patented, so that she can get something from it and don't have Wall Street and all these people using it here for free. A liar memory is not good enough for him or her to be successful. You have a wheel and come again, sir.
Kunji?
The caller before Gordon Joseph. I gave it 10 out of 10. But I gave it 10 out of 10. You see, not because he's a UNC supporter, you need to keep a blind eye on everything. You see how he come out and speak? The UNC could have do it better. I give him 10 out of 10 for that. Because, not because he's a party supporter, you have to accept everything. And I will also say, they could have tell the population, the workers that I'm not going on, they'll just hold strain a little bit. Is we taking the contract, the contractors them moving it, and when the contractor them switch over, all your work intact. I give him 10 out of 10 for that, because that's the right thing. But then
that was Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin, yeah. The PNM supporters and them don't do them thing. Since 1938, black people selling on Charlotte Street, since 1938. In 2017, 18, somewhere there, you take it away from the people and them, the street, and you name it after the Chinese and them.
Chinatown.
Today, if it wasn't the United National Congress, the PNM would have moved all them people and them from Charlotte Street already. Their own supporters. Is the UNC was stand up for them and make sure these people and them go there and sell, because everybody pass over there, everybody buy something over there and then go home. The PNM didn't like that development. The PNM was against that. They never see the people and them struggling and saying, hey, so much of years these people them selling over here. And we just keep disturbing them, taking the goods, running them. It's when the UNC stand up for these people and them. Jared Ramdeen and all of them stand up and say no. How somebody can be selling over here for 50 years and all can come and move them just so? They can't move them. And it's the UNC was stand up for them. Where was the love and the passion for these people them who all classify now? I classify them as poor black people too, and people who need representation. But where all your love for this, for your own brother and sister in time of need? One of the worst things in life is to deny your people, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, to deny them in time of need. Take the call. Somebody on the line there.
No, I ain't see no call.
Oh. That's one of the worst things to do. Professor Wall Street. I say Professor Wall Street, Uncle Tommy. I don't remember why he's not a caller here today. It's sad. It's sad, but you have to accept it. You have to accept it. And we will speak out against it. When I come to call programs, I don't call for no party support. I speak on behalf of the vulnerable, the needy. And today, tomorrow, we not seeing that happening. You feel like going to keep a blind eye and say, that my party in power going to keep a blind eye. When you keep a blind eye, you keep a blind eye to the things that matters in life. You keep a blind eye to the things that matters to the future of this country. For years, I see 25, 27 years I doing this. I see all the PNM supporters and them keep a blind eye to the things that matters in life. I see the victimize, the PNM victimize their own brothers and sisters in the PNM community, and PNM talk shows and them was shamed to even speak out for party support.
Let me take this voice note.
Go ahead.
All right, we have a call. I'll take the call. I'll get back to this voice note after. Call you live.
Good afternoon again, Uncle Walls, Tommy and COP. And COP, hello, you want to say, Sama Baratarian market, when they build the market, they didn't want the supporters of the PNM use it and selling it. Is a PNM with Ms. Hafiza had a fight and UNC lawyers to get them to go into the market to sell in Sama. So remind them, yeah, and then remind them that there is the people in San Fernando move the vendors and put us at the haberdashery and have them given the way. Yeah? And then people put a spin on the walk there where you can come people to sell in the big market. Yeah? Look at how they have it run down for much years, and they're not giving them the adequate facilities. So they keep telling them, remind them that the PNM was never for people, because John and the environment for the last 10 years was neglected of our peasant people.
Thank you.
If we have to be honest to ourselves as human beings, if we have to be honest to ourselves and not to no political party, and we have to say, well, all right, let we look at the 5 years under Kamala Prasad and the People's Partnership, and the 10 years under Keith Rowley administration. If you're a true human being, you will say, in fact, I will say, The representation we get the 5 years under the People's Partnership and the 10 years under the PNM.
Okay, let's take this call.
Kamala beat them bad.
Caller, you're live. Caller, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Afternoon, gentlemen. At last, I got to be trying for the hours. I'm glad to get through. And the reason why I'm trying to get through to you all, I'll have to come back up to the same business where you was talking about.
Yes, go ahead.
You want these PNM people is a narrative with them that they're saying, oh, they fire the UNC fire 10,000 workers without notice and this kind of thing they're talking about. But they're not listening to what the UNC ministers are saying. They did not fire the people to the jobs, but they did this because of the contracts that the PNM did just before a few days before the election.
True.
Right? Now, you know there's a lot of corruption going on with these contracts, a lot of corruption. So they're trying to clean that off, bring back proper contractors, and then the CPF workers will get back their jobs. So they don't listen to that. And I will tell you something, and I said this before. When this predecessor was in government, our Prime Minister now, between 2010 and 2015, she found out that the CPF workers had not got NIS and maternity leave. And she gave it to the workers. The workers started to get NIS and maternity leave. She turned around and she said, and after working on this, you all could go and learn the trade free of charge. What electrical, plumbing, hairdressing, whatever. So you get a certificate to, if you want to do your own little business. Now, how caring again it can be? How caring? And to can't turn off and say, they fire all from the CPF people. Nonsense, nonsense. That is the PNM doing that. They are pushing that narrative. Right? Bad time, I put it God blessings.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you finished? Are you done? All right, let me play this voice note.
So that we said that the UNC was perfect, right? Not even Jesus was perfect. So I don't know where he getting that from. They made mistakes. UNC made mistakes. Because they were human. But you see, the thing about it, people like Gordon and them loves to only regurgitate all what the UNC did, but you never hear anything about what the PNM did in 9 years, 7 months, and 28 days. We mustn't talk about that. We mustn't look in the mirror. We mustn't look back in the rearview mirror. We must only sing their praises, but they have no praises to sing about. Nothing. Nothing. CLP, did you ever see those people in Avatar protesting for that school, St. Philip's? I think it's St. Philip's and St. Peter's or somebody like that. Or any schools at all, the Piccadilly school, any school at all in their area. Not even the Fable government. I used to be every morning. I was beating that drum about that school. The children being transported to Tanapuna on buses every morning. That's the only school that the PNM went and finished fixed, and it was just before the 2023 elections, local government elections. They had no will to do anything for the people, only friends, family, and financiers. So I don't know what they're talking about, what these PNM sycophants talking about. And I want to tell the voice noter, you said that they went about it the wrong way, right? Regardless of whichever way they went about it, the PNM propaganda machine and the gospel of the PNM is in full swing. So it's up to the people to believe, right, what they want. And we know very well the UNC would not put people on the breadline like what it is the PNM was doing. TSTT workers, CPEP workers, Caroni Greens, everybody, Petrotrin, everybody. We know they would not do something like that. Okay? So whether or not they had consulted them first or not, okay, that they would still push the propaganda. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yes, COP. That's Miss Santa Cruz. Always makes a stellar contribution.
I agree. Miss Santa Cruz and
KFC. Yes, KFC, you're live.
Mr. Washington and COP. Yeah, I feel like I bring COP back here sometime, because we just talk real and talk plain. But Mr. Uncle Tommy, you know, black people stand up for Mr. Good afternoon to the professor, Mr. Washington. If they was stand up for Mr. Washington for the building, Washington program, for the youth in East-West corridor, them stand up for he, them call PNM, we call them cuss Washington. They defend Washington. So he doesn't know when it's coming with that black thing and black this and that. Because them not black conscious, so them black conscious to the PNM for the 1% and them the slave black people. Not all slave black people. So I don't know, they stand up for my black brother to get the building. They don't stand up for poor people. But Mr. Washington, Uncle Tommy, I had a woman always interviewing and all the programs sometimes called Zakia, a woman from the emancipation community. Right? She said, they never have piece of land, boy. Emancipation, they never have piece of land, no. You never, for emancipation, you never nobody surviving up there and renting millions, renting tents and all them kind of thing. I'm not getting that money. The people that look like me and you. It's groups and company. Them getting the money. So them the off-slave black people. Why didn't they stand up for picking school, simple them school, and all them schools and them were lapidated in PNM, Stronghold, Lavante, Duncan Street, Nelson Street, and all them places, and them were constant voting PNM. So I doesn't care about them black, evil, wicked people. Them don't like black people. Them like black people confidently. Because right now they're in opposition. Go on, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree 100%. But I was saying, Uncle Tommy, it's not now. Me and Miss Arima, because Miss Arima and I speaking since 2005 about all them dilapidated schools and them in the country. You know? It's not now we're speaking about them things. You know?
All right, let's take this other call here because we're running out. Caller, you live. Listen on your phone. Turn down your computer. Go ahead, caller.
Uncle Tommy, you want to get COP? Sorry about that. And you have to remind them, when they talk about CPEP workers going home, another contractor, and it's a community-based work in progress. When the United National Congress from 2010 to 2015, the infrastructure in villages such as Kuva, Debe, Point 14, Arima, it was so dilapidated in rural areas. It had canal where the black water used to settle. And then when she come with the box train, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the contractors was in the village, the county, St. Patrick, you belong to St. Patrick, you register in that area and you get box train to build the box train and pavement and to upgrade the infrastructure on the road. That came from the villages and the county. The PNM came in, they scrapped that idea. How much workers went home? And you know who they started to give? Big contractor. And in Trinidad, we know it have a contractor, he big, green, and red and yellow. He built a piece of the highway to Point 14. and it collapsed in the sea. It sink. But he would like to send lawsuit, another talk show, when the quality contractor name that the battle came on the air. So them started to get the contract, and where the small man was, no way for the small man. And it's just that the UNC exposed that the ministers and them in the PNM was getting the CPEP contract and not where it meant to be. Our present there on our weekend. See you all on Monday, peace God. God bless everybody.
Same to you, and thanks for your call.
Under the People's Partnership, the companies and them who was doing them box trains and them. All right, look like in Point up here over here. A contractor from Penal, David, Woodland, Barapo, Lavantil was doing over here. Under the People's Partnership, the small companies and them from the constituency is to get the work to build the constituency. They should take the workers from the community and build a constituency. We see that under the PNM for the past 10 years. It looked like foreigners was building community and constituency, and they're not even living in the community and constituency. For our government to be in power for 5 years, build 106 schools, build 9 police stations, 7 fire stations, community learning center all over the community. So that when single mothers had to do the little URP work and thing, and they could send the little child in our building over there, and it have people to see about the little child and them. All these buildings and them was abandoned and neglected under the People's National Movement for the past 10 years, you know. Rotten down today in bush, you know.
Yep.
Thank God the citizens of this country opened their eyes and said, no, we can't take that nonsense no more. We want representation instead of lies and deceit. As a government, it is better to represent the people, give the people them an opportunity in life rather than fool them, neglect them, and deny them. You know. The PNM was doing that. And for callers, for callers, I only telling them to say they defended the PNM today. That is just wrong, people. That is just wrong.
Yep.
The sin. I don't want to really say this, you know, but I have to say that. The sins of the parents. Let me just put it this way. The chip don't fall far from the block, because I don't really want to put that on earlier. I just telling earlier. The chip don't fall far from the block. It is better to be responsible.
We're just about ready to wrap up. So send your closing voice notes to 973-609-65.
My closing comment. It was a pleasure being in front of the screen over here. This great screen.
Brooklyn.
Uncle Tommy, it's me again.
Okay.
You see, Faris get some licks from the Senate day before yesterday, the 27th.
Yep.
When he tried to challenge the chair, I hope he punish him some more. I hope they punish them some more, man. They think they're above the law. They could do whatever the hell they want to do. It's high time they go. It's high time they get punished, man. They talk about the CPEP contracts too. Those were in violation of the law. So that's why the people then lose their job. In violation. And these people sickening. They do all kind of nonsense. I'm tired of it.
Yep.
All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you. Pleasant evening. Yes, COP. We come into the home stretch now.
Yeah.
KFC. Yes, KFC.
The last caller.
Yeah, Uncle Tommy and my brother COP, what a good program, a little short and sweet. But Mr. Worship and Uncle Tommy and COP, it's not the men who sweeping the road, who raking the grass, and who cutting the grass. Then we get back to work. We talk about the PNM activists and the PNM minister them who eating up at the chuff at the treasury when all the contract. I know about talk to block at 91.9. She had 3 stipend contract. That's how I name them out. That's why they was sitting on board in Iran where say all of them is PNM activists and they have been contract. They have been thing in Europe. So things that have changed up. It's have people who support the UNC who got victimized for the last 9 years. They're screaming calls and sending to the ministers and every duty and TC program. Man like Tunji, man like myself, man like Heavy, man like TC, them blacklist we. We could get them contract on them and employ back them same plan them because they will be enlisted and the work will be done. Them eat until their belly burst. Them didn't care about people. They only care about their friends and family. So my poor brother will not all ahead. All go back on the road again. Let me just clean up things. Bless. Until tomorrow meet again.
Alrighty. Yeah, Kunji.
Closing comment?
Yeah, we near the top of the hour. You can give your closing comment.
Well, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. It was nice being over here. And to tell the citizens of this country, it's only 2 months this government in power. And let me take with time. What is for you will be for you. And nobody can take what is for you. You see everything that the government reading out in Parliament over there, they may write that. They get those things from the government ministries, from the ministries that the PNM was in all the time. All them figures on them, they get it from the government ministries. All them corruption on them. And if it didn't have them corruption on them, it would have nothing for the government to bad talk them on. The only reason why it have those things coming out because misconduct in public office was taking place. And we have to get rid of that. Let me give this government, this UNC government, 10 out of 10 for the work they're doing for the past 2 months. I good with that.
Thank you, Kunji, and it's a pleasure working with you this afternoon rather. Looking forward to seeing you or hearing from you tomorrow, God willing. And let's go to the top of the hour.
Yeah.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the closing voice notes.
Well, Uncle Tommy, you make me feel like a journalist today, man.
You did a wonderful job. You've been ready. Yeah, Mr. Florida.
The stance where yes, COP. COP, thank you very much for coming on today, man. I enjoyed it, man. You have real knowledge on the politics in Trinidad, man. And blessing to you and your family. Blessings to everybody, all the callers, all the Texas, through our God grace. See you again on Monday. Go and, you know what you could do now? Go and have a big picture Rowley on the wall. Go and sit down, take a drink, watch your picture Rowley, go on with the Houston, all the money you need. All right, guys, have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
And Miss Arima, not Miss Arima, Miss Santa Cruz, I need to have a conversation with you, Miss Santa Cruz. Well, she told me my number.
Yeah, well, I want to commend Mr. Tommy, Mr. Kunji, for holding down the fort. Please let my friend know that I fell 2 stone at him. Yeah, but I miss him. Yeah, small ones, small ones. I am not about hurt and pain, and I'm about truth. Yeah, but I hope wherever he is that he's okay. I don't know if he went to the convention because I know he never voted anybody else. Well, I didn't say that. That's what he said. All right, so they don't cuss me and pelt me with mud. That's what he said. I don't know if he went, but wherever he is, I hope he and his family safe and sound. All right, so people, tit, tat, tat, tit.
Good day again, Uncle Tommy and Mr. COP. I stand by what I say here with Professor Tommy. I find this government should have a communication ministry where they could be communicating what they're going to do and what policies they have in place regarding to what happened with CPF. Because had they done that, the VNM will not have all this ammunition on them to run with it. Because they face it, they're going to cancel all these contracts just like that. And they usually people that say they fire 11,000 people. But what the minister should have come out and do was to have a press conference, the line minister, and say, we do it X, Y, Z because of what happened, right? And we're taking action, and we're going to start back the program by July, so and so, right? And that is what she should have come out and say, not leave the people in limbo to find out all these things and for the PNM to run with the rhetoric. And that is why the UNC stabbing themselves in their back. Not me, it's them doing it. I just say that as a layman term here, who don't like it, let them lose, right? But I speaking the truth. I should have done it a little better so they'll be more palatable to the people. I don't care what media don't support them. We know the media don't support them. But that is why them have to use the media for their advantage. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna give my closing remarks and we're gonna wrap up. And I will clearly say I feel the need for speed. Need for speed. Like I always say, you the man in the mirror, you have to become that change you want to see. However, if you look at the mirror and don't like what you see, you cannot blame the mirror. Never look down on a person unless you give them a hand up. Pleasant good night, good evening, good Sunday. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. And we'll see each other tomorrow, God willing.
Have a blessed evening, Trinidad and Tobago.
This is for
Fire! 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 Fire!
all right. Good night.